Well, we're previewing the feature races with Candice Bass Robinson now, and she's got runners in the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas, which is race number 8, and she also has runners in the Hollywoodbets Victor Stakes, which is a Group 3 over 1,800 meters in race number 10. She's on the line, and Candice, firstly, thanks for taking up your time. I know it's very busy in the mornings. How things been at your stable this morning?
Hi, Deez. Just please excuse my voice. I have had laryngitis for the last couple of days, so you're only just getting the best of me today, unfortunately. Things have been going very well. It's obviously a holiday today, so things are pretty quiet at the yard this morning. All my horses had their final workouts yesterday. Very happy with all of them. So, just pretty much a relaxed day today, and waiting for this supposed heavy rains that we're getting, which we haven't had as of yet.
Just taking a step back from this feature race day and having a look at, the first half of the season, which began on the 1st of August, you must be really happy with the way the results have been going and the way your horses are running, because the results are clear for us to see.
Yes, Deez, I've been very happy with my season thus far. It's been a good year altogether. I've got a very nice strong string of horses at the moment, and most races I've pretty much got chances in, which always makes things makes it easier for me, and obviously makes the racing nice and exciting times. And as I say, I've got a very strong string, and obviously having one or two that really head up my string in a strong way has been a very rewarding year for me.
Okay, well, let's get straight into it. 1,600 meters. What a field has been assembled here. 15 will go to post at the time of recording. You've got the horse that's way on top, overwhelming favorite, and then you go saddle the horse that's at the bottom of the betting boards as well. That's a contrast between your two horses, isn't it?
This gives you a nice contrast for the day. They can't all be at the top of the boards. There's got to be someone at the bottom of the board.
Sure.
Qualified for the race, and he's got a nice draw, so he can take his chances. Tough race for him, but as I say, he drew well, and you never know.
Okay, let's talk about your big boy. We know he hasn't put a foot wrong from day one. He's shown the ability. He's just grown in confidence throughout his career. Each time you race him, he seems to getting better and stronger. And it's quite scary to think that there still could be more to come from him.
Yes, Deez, it is really. What can I really say about him that hasn't been shown or said by himself? He's just improved with every run, really. I think his hardest race he's had thus far was probably his maiden win, first time out, where he was very green and he met a very decent horse, and he had to, I think was the only time that he, Aldo had to even use a stick on him. So, he's done everything with ease. He's just improved all the time, and, I think his last run was probably his best run for me, and I think he's looking at him physically too, his last run, he's tightened up into a proper horse now, and I think it seems silly for me to say, but I think he's come on from that run. I think he's had a great prep going into the Guineas. He had a really good prep run over the 14 against older horses, giving them weight. It was not an easy task for him, and he did it with ease. So tomorrow obviously will be his toughest task to date. Group 1, taking on the best 3-year-olds in the country, and I think we've got a very strong bunch of 3-year-olds this year. From a slightly wider draw. It's as I say, he's got it all to do on Saturday. I certainly think he's capable of doing it. Yes, I do. As I say, he's had a great prep going into the race, and I'm confident of a good run. And I've just got to hope now that he's good enough. It's only a race, and anything happens in races, as you know. It's never just cut and dried, and things don't always just go according to plan. You can take, for example, my Guineas last year with Triple Fortune. I went into the Guineas thinking I had a really realistic chance of being able to win the Guineas last year, and then he gets put over the fence almost. So things happen, and you need a lot of luck in racing, and a lot of things need to go your way to win these races. But as far as the horse goes and his prep goes, I'm 100% happy with that.
I just want to go back to that last start as well. You briefly touched on it. It was obviously a plan to drop him out in that small field. And the one thing that, us viewers noticed, I don't know what was the feedback from Aldo prior, to him racing previously, but he seemed to be more settled in the running last time out. Is that what you wanted to get out of him?
I think that was definitely, it was always the plan to drop him in, just to get him to settle, because, the time before that he ended up racing not through anybody's fault, just that he was drawn well and there was no pace, and he ended up being a little bit handier than, not what we would have liked to have been, but, he can get on with things a little bit. He's, once you switch him on, he likes to switch on. So the plan was either there was a sprint race that was available as a prep run, or the 1400, and I think the better option for us was to run him in a 14 and drop him in, get him to switch off properly, and let him use his turn of foot that he had. And I think it worked out perfectly. They went a nice pace for him to set in. He is a little bit awkward in his mouth, but I think it looks more awkward than what it actually feels. Aldo says he's no problem to get to settle, and once you ask him to turn on, it's there. So I think the more you can get him to settle, obviously the better that turn of foot is for him. So it works out to be the perfect prep at the end of the day.
Well, obviously, a mile should be no problems on his pedigree and just the way he races. That's no issue at all.
No, I'm not worried about the mile at all. I think he'll handle the mile comfortably.
Okay, I just want to touch on one last thing before we move on to the Victor Stakes. I know most trainers don't even consider the betting as a guide. It is a guide. Are you surprised to see him this short in the betting at 5-10, with the next being at around 9-2, 5-1? Is that a big gap between him and his next rival?
Listen, Dees, I'm not a betting person, and I have no interest in the betting whatsoever. Most of the time I wouldn't even know what price he was when he went off, because to me it's just, I don't really want to know that he's 5-10 or 4-10 or whatever he may be. I don't, for me it just adds more pressure. So I don't worry about that, and I don't think about that. He doesn't know what he is in the betting. So, look, I think probably, the way he's won all his races and the hype and the talk and all sorts of things about him, I think a lot of people, have a lot of confidence. And I think, that's basically where it comes from. It's a very short price to be going into Guineas with. But as I say, it doesn't affect me at all.
It's an unfair question, but I'm going to pose it because, this is what the race is all about. It's very, very difficult comparing horses. But when you have a look at what he's produced to date and the feel he gives you, do you rate him as, amongst the best that you've seen when you were with your dad and when you've been on your own?
Look, obviously the way he wins and the way he does things, Dees, I would like to say yes, but he's, as I say, he's still got to go out there and do it. He's just on what he shows me at home and what he's shown me in races. I feel for me as a trainer myself in my own capacity, he's definitely got the most ability. I think that I've trained. Obviously, in my father's time, we've had a lot of good horses and we've had Pocket Powers and things like that. I think he's a very different horse to Pocket Power. He's more of an electric horse than what Pocket Power was. Pocket Power, had a longevity that went on for all those years, and he always just got up and won his races. He was a brilliant horse. I mean, never ever thought I'd get another Pocket Power ever in this yard, but he's a different type of horse. He's much earlier than what he was, and he shows a bit more brilliance than what he does at this stage. But as I say, he hasn't produced what those horses have produced yet. If he goes on to do that, then hopefully one day I will be able to say, hopefully one day I would like to be able to say that, he is, the best horse that I've trained.
Thanks a lot for that, Candice. Okay, all the best with him. Let's move along to race number 10, which is a Victor Stakes, a Group 3 over 1,800 meters. And here you seem to have, a horse that's priced up at 12-10, first in the betting market ahead of number 5, Chansonet. And how's she doing, Marina? How is she doing?
Yeah, she's doing very well. She's extremely well at the moment. She looks fantastic. She's working accordingly. She had a nice prep run, first run back the other day. She's been such a tall, lanky, light horse, and I've always said that I feel as a 5-year-old now will probably be her best season from a strength position and just, on the way she races, I think I'm hoping certainly that it will be her best season. She's very well at the moment. Obviously, it's a small little field, competitive field. Chancenet is never an easy filly to beat. We ended up in front of her last time. I think my fillies come on nicely from that run. So, I'm confident of a good run tomorrow. And obviously, Chancenet being the filly to beat, but I think she'll have a good chance.
Your other horse, Do Angels Cry, one for the exactors, that type of thing?
I would love to think so. I think if I managed to run a place with her, I think Fontaine would be as happy as if I won the race, just to try and get some black type for her because they've just bought her for stud purposes. Also doing very well. Her work is good at home. She didn't disgrace herself amongst these fillies last time. So I think she'll enjoy the 1,800 meters too. So she is the filly that could sneak a place and finish in the money. And as I say, I would have very happy owners.
Well, we've called you for the 2 feature races, but I'd just like to steal some more time, just a bit more time. But of the other races, obviously it's a busy day for your stable. Of the balance of the races, is there anything that stands out for you or something that the guys can follow with a bit of confidence?
I think I've got very nice runners all round tomorrow, Dees. I've got some nice juveniles running, but it's difficult. It's very hard in the juvenile races trying to predict what you're going to do when there's so many in the field and obviously no form, and mine are also first timers. They could be green, they might not, but they're nice types. And then I think probably my best chance other than that on the day, filly raising Quinn. I think she should have a good chance. Her last 2 runs have been very consistent. She's doing well at home, so I think she'll certainly have a good each way chance, or a good chance at that. And then I've got Sundays. If he doesn't find the 1,000 too short, he'll be running on Strongly. Must be included.
Well, thanks a lot for your time, and I can promise you, after chatting to me, no sign of that laryngitis, Candice.
Sorry, I didn't go. You broke up there, Dees.
I said, after chatting to me, there's no sign of any voice issues. That laryngitis has disappeared.
I'm hoping I'll have my voice back tomorrow properly.
Well, all the best with the feature races, all the best the entire day, and from the team at Gallop TV, we thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
That's Candice Bass-Robinson on her runners in the feature races, and thanks for shedding some light on her other runners as well.